ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Beauty, Strength, and Dominance, the official LFC Lingerie Fighting Championships podcast. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me today is LFC Madness Contestant, Miss London Storm. London, it's a pleasure and a privilege. How are you?
How are you?
I can't complain. First and foremost, we did a On the Mic with Mike series, guys. Go check that back out on the YouTube and on the SoundCloud. A lot of stuff's being uploaded to the YouTube, that interview in particular. But god dang, man, here you are. You're starting out new in the Sessions Wrestling world. You're doing your thing there. And now here you are into the LFC auspices and world. You are moving quick like fire, man. You are making the rounds. How you feeling?
Man, I feel great. Honestly, I was not expecting to get past round one. But it was great. I feel awesome. It was amazing. And, I couldn't be more proud. So, coming in as complete nobody so quickly at the very end of the game, and just to make it round two was awesome. And I'm very proud of Rachel Adams for proceeding forward as well. And I'm wishing her the best of luck to make it past round three. But it's a good feeling, and I'm just going to keep training and hopefully reach out next year. So.
Well, you see, that's the right attitude to have. And I think what a lot of people actually don't realize, and I'm glad that you brought this up as well, when it comes to the LFC Madness, there's going to be a lot more of these. It's one of those things where it's like it's going to be a continuous tournament because it's become hot. It's become big for LFC. We get to meet a lot of different new prospects like yourself. And I'm sure there's going to be more rounds. And I'm sure we're also going to include, think of like when WWE did Tough Enough, right? We're going to include people that did not make it, to the final rounds in the previous LFC Madnesses. So I'm sure you'll be up in the mix in the upcoming LFC Madnesses, London. So I also look at it from a stance, too, as well. When it comes to LFC Madness, for you got through Brianna Hogan, you got through Rachel Adams. Like, you're talking about you're getting to round two. You made it that far. What did you think about your two opponents, by the way? Because Rachel Adams is a cat fighter and model. Brianna Hogan is a model, and she's doing her thing, ready to scrap. What was it like for you just to be, encompassed with those two women? One is very popular.
Intimidating.
It is.
Intimidation. Honestly, because Miss Hogan, she's gorgeous, beautiful, and she has huge fan base. And then when I made it past, I was a little shocked. But then with Miss Adams, man, she held strong in that leadership board. She knows what she's doing, and she got a very big dedicated fan base. I mean, a lot of these women do, and it was just awesome to be able to compete and be up against those big of women. You know what I mean? So I mean, I'm just honored and I'm flattered about it at the end of the day. And I would love to personally one day get to meet them, shake their hand and be like, thanks for giving me that for my first time. I'll always remember them as my first few competitors in the leadership board. So
I look at it from a stance, too, as well, from the social media following just in general, like that social media man whore Leon Hader and I talked about on the LFC recap. It's one of those things where, yes, it comes in hand. We also look at it from a stance, too, like we talked about last time, relatively new into the social media game, but you have that vibrancy and you do have that following in your own right that a lot of people can gravitate towards. So it could be from an imagery standpoint and just overall. So I got to say, the flux of talent that we see that made you go on to round two with Rachel Adams and everything in general with LFC Madness, the people can agree and people can gravitate towards you, because we'll get into your story here, but a lot of people have that gravitation pull towards you, London.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm a people person, man. And like I said, I just love people and I love doing positive things. And I mean, I promote and support anybody that's doing something or moving forward, especially, others that I grew up with. So at the end of the day, it's just like you keep promoting one another and it's just good karma coming back.
Beautifully said. And I got to say, your story is one of two stories that was very popular in the LFC Madness tournament. Now, the first one being Sabrina Unger, who was, I got to say, in an upset. Jamie Senegal, very popular professional wrestler, doing her thing on the independent circuit, on NWA Empower, many various wrestling promotions. Got the name Unger from her wrestling mom, as she calls her, Daphne, who, God rest her soul, passed away earlier this year. It's one of those things where you're dedicating and tributing everything you do to your wrestling mom, someone who has such a deep meaning on your heart. And then there's you, like we touched upon in the recap shows, coming back from addiction, coming back through a lot of stuff that you went through and showcasing female empowerment and really putting yourself at the forefront. How awesome is that for you? Because when it comes to storytelling, that goes in any art form, that goes in any combative nature. You two were probably two of the most emotional stories that we had in this year's LFC Madness.
It's just one of those things, a lot of people, I feel, they're ashamed of their story. They're afraid to speak out because, addiction's a big thing. Drugs are so bad. No. It's hard. It's very hard. Because you do things when you have an addiction that you're not proud of. You hurt people that you're not proud of, but you own up to it. And I feel like that's the biggest thing too. And people need to say their mistakes and where they messed up. it helps others. It helps others be able to cope with it. I really feel that, owning up to it is one thing, but speaking out loud about it is another. And it does help you move forward and cope with it. I mean, once I started being 100% honest, not only with myself, but with other people, it was just, I felt better about myself. It made me stay more positive and wanting to like keep moving that way. And those who truly love you, will be there. I've had people in my life for like 17 plus years to see me from little to great to messing up to falling down, but they're still there and it helps. You just own up to their stuff and they accept it. They accept you for who you are. You move forward. But again, I think people are just so afraid to own up to what they've done and say what they've been through because they're ashamed of it. Don't ever be ashamed of it. Speak it out because it also heals you, but it's also going to help somebody else get through their stuff.
Beautifully said. And as someone who's been down that road as well, and I could speak from experience, a lot of my peers know it. It's one of those things where the accountability is a big thing, but also at the same time, you really shouldn't be ashamed of it, because if you put yourself at the forefront and you could shed that light into a person's life and really, understand the struggle and what people are going through and get out of that, it's a beautiful thing. But also at the same time, you're helping one another. And I think a lot of people can relate to it. So at the end of the day, it's a blessing, because a lot of people, like you said, kind of bottle that stuff up and they don't want to, talk about it. But I'm like, no, let's talk about it, man, because we all go through it. It's internally and externally. It doesn't matter. We all go through it.
Right. And that's another thing too. It's like everybody's human. Everybody makes mistakes. I mean, and at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that like everybody's done some fucked up shit. So it's like, it's just part of life. It's the circle of life. You can't have to go with the bad. Like I said before, you have to have that equal balance, but you're okay. It's okay if you messed up. Just move forward from it. Like, you're not a piece of shit. You're not a bad person. Just get up and move forward. Just don't be ashamed of yourself. Everybody messes up. Everybody's the same. Like, really, when it comes down to it, we really are the same. We are people. We mess up, and we keep going in life.
Exactly. Oh, exactly, London. And I look at it from a stance too, like what we had like back in the day, how we were like 4 or 5 years ago is not who we are like today. People evolve, people change. And I think what's cool about it too is from the evolving side of things. And I love the fact that you've evolved, because you're into the sessions wrestling world now. And shout out to Delight Dela Cruz and Miss Chloe Cummings, who pretty much have gotten you into that world and who are LFC prospects in their own right. So what do you think about the transition now? You're a session wrestler, you're an LFC prospect. Like I said, all comes very quickly, but at the same time, this is what happens when opportunity knocks.
It's crazy. That's all I keep saying is it's crazy. That's the only way I could describe it. It's just one of those wild things, Ever since I was little, I was like, I'm gonna do something, and I've been trying. I've had opportunities kind of like tap, but it wasn't the right time for me to open that door. So they fell through. So I just kind of like let it go. But then all this happening so quickly, I'm just like, whoop, whoop, low key, like to myself. But at the end of the day, too, I'm very blessed. And very thankful. And it's crazy excitement, hands down.
Well, that's the thing too, because what's great about LFC is there's a lot of coincide and coincision when it comes to the session wrestling world and LFC, because a lot of session wrestling talents have gone on to LFC. We have different people from all facets of life, different shapes and sizes, which we'll get into with LFC Madness here. But god dang, man, that's what's great about it, because it's a variety. And I think for you, being from the empowerment side of things, when you're working in beautiful lingerie and providing that sex appeal, but also kicking ass and taking names at the same time, that is a mesh for success right there.
I agree. I totally agree.
And I think for you as well, because we're talking about LFC Madness here, we are down to the final 8. Like, it's gone through so quickly. We have the final 8 here, which will feature Amber Pixie, Ashley Graham, Ebony Mystique, Jade Arredondo, Regan Kennedy, Ariana Blaze, Rachel Adams, and Betty Brickhouse. Mighty.
I like her.
Okay.
I feel like she's going to be a brick wall coming in to the LFC, and just this madhouse badass woman. Like, her photos, I love her facial expressions. I just think she's like that badass, like just that dominant lumberjack woman. Man, she's gonna come in and just defeat. And Miss Pixie, I like too. I think she's adorable, and I would describe her as a cute, badass little fairy. Like, she's so cute and innocent looking, but I feel like she tears somebody up. So those are the two that I've been that caught my eye.
So that was actually going to be my follow-up. We're down to 8 now. It's going to come to 2, and then the 2 will fight at the LFC Booty Camp upcoming event. And as well, they get $1,300 earrings from Boston Diamond and Bling. So you get blingage on top of that prize. So who do you think the final 2 are going to come down to, London?
I hope it's those two, honestly, because just the complete opposite spectrum of their appeal and their fighting styles, and it's like, I just think it would be just like full Tasmanian devil type fight. I just feel like that those two opposites will just like show both their skills, and it'd just be a great match to watch.
Oh, agreed. And I also look at it from a stance too. Now with Betty Brickhouse, we talked about on the last show. LFC, we've not seen really like from a plus size model stance, and I think it's great to have that variety and that uniqueness too.
Yes.
Because Betty Brickhouse, first and foremost, Brickhouse, mighty, letting it all hang out. But god dang, man, her and Frankie Fox were at the top of the leaderboard. They were going back and forth, and that was probably one of the most epic bouts that we've seen. And we're only in the semifinals.
I know, I know. But I think she's going to be doing some really good things, and I think she's going to be known very, very, very much. Like I said, just having a plus size model coming in, and just her attitude and she's beautiful in her photos, her confidence that she has, and just that badass, like, I got this, and I'm going to take over, and I really feel like she's going to dominate.
Speaking of confidence, we got to talk about this because one of your favorite songs, and you told me this, and we're going to say it on the air here. Confident by Demi Lovato. You wanted that to be your LFC entrance and your LFC song when that day comes, man. You love you some Demi Lovato in that Confident song. Great song, very apropos. But like I said, what's wrong with being confident? It works. It's a nice mesh for you there, London.
Yes, yes. I love Demi Lovato in general. Her story, her life, her struggles, things she's been through. You know, she's a very, very inspirational woman. If you read past her music, I mean, a lot of her newer music, it's very deep. But if you get the time to know her and just like read her biographies and the life struggles she's had, you know, heartache, abandonment, also, you know, drugs and addiction and food disorders, and she just the ultimate empowered woman. Of it doesn't matter, she's gonna get through whatever, still be successful in what she wants to do. But then she gets her word out. But she also teaches fame's not everything. She's still human and makes mistakes. Whether you have the money or you don't, it doesn't make nobody different. Everybody has the same struggles. And, you know, she's just a very empowerment woman because she pushed through all that. And then now she releases it out in her music. And I'm telling you what, her music touches me. It does. It inspires me. And it helps me remember, you know, if she can do it, anybody can. Because even famous people struggle. Doesn't matter how much you have. It's what's going on here and in here. So.
Well, it's the lyricism of every song. And for me, like when I was growing up, like Ice Cube and Crazy Bone had a song called Until We Rich. And one of the most powerful lyrics of that song is get your mind right, get your grind right. We got to keep going. It's stuff like that that really touches the heart. And I think music and anything in general, anything that really touches your heart and really inspires you, I think is wonderful. And people can continue on that grind. And for you, I look at it from a stance too, because my God, woman, with your Sessions Wrestling, I've seen the photos. You're choking people out. You're working with a lot of great people. You do have that tenacity as well and that ferocity. So that goes hand in hand.
Thanks. That's an awesome compliment. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well, that's what it is when it comes to Sessions Wrestling. We're also fulfilling fantasies, but also at the same time, the clientele really get like a show and they get to have that experience. And that's what I always loved about Sessions Wrestling, because it does have that nice mix to it. It's unique, but also at the same time, it really is, like we mentioned, confidence and empowering. But the sex appeal that goes into it is absolutely amazing as well, because the clientele is what makes it. And also gels, and you get to, you know, make people smile.
Right. Exactly. That's what it's all about, man. You just, no matter what type of positive entertainment that you're in, or positive, if it's something positive for someone that makes you smile, do it. Just make people happy. Don't be negative. If you don't like it, move on to your happy little spot. You know what I mean? Just gotta make people laugh, be happy.
Agreed. And I mean, right. And I mean, I look at it from a stance too with LFC. I always made the comparison with the LFL, the Lingerie Football League. Like, who doesn't want to see beautiful women of all different art forms and genres, whether it's MMA, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, what have you, kicking butt and taking names and looking good while they're doing it? Because if you look at the LFL from the back in the day, it's lingerie football. It's beautiful women, but tackling each other and kicking the shit out of each other, for those that remember those games.
I would totally do it. I mean, it's awesome. It is. And it shows too that, like, you know, the variety pack, it's just beautiful. And like, as people, we are all different variety packs. And if us women can come together in the entertainment world or whatever it may be as different variety packs, I can't others. So it's just another, like, you gotta look at things as positive reinforcements. That way, you do one movement, it's gonna make a bigger one.
Agreed. And I also, what I love about LFC too as well is, I mean, we just came off the Booty Camp 3D event, which was amazing to see people like T. Bella Madison and Bella Madison from LFC Madness 2, and from LFC Madness, excuse me, and LFC Madness 2 with Sheena of the Hungarian Hurricane Bathory and Shay Lynn. Like, the people who get to this final is going to have to live up to that, because they were cutting promos, they were going at each other, and we want to see more of that exposure from whoever gets to the final two here, because we got a nice mix of international talent as well, like we mentioned with Amber Pixie and so many people as well. I mean, that's what we also do need as well. And I always like really like put like a stamp on this. Like we need more international talent so they can, vibe and get that variety with the States and the international vibes. We need a lot more international talent.
I agree. I totally agree. Like I said, everybody just needs to, whenever you find that doing something that's coming together, just get involved. Like I said, it doesn't matter where you're starting at, but everybody just needs to get involved somehow and come together. It's just another form of coming together. So.
I gotta say, I do like your attitude as well, because we were talking about like the positive attitude. Like, hey, I'm glad I made it this far, but hey, LFC, I'll be there. And I look at it from a stance too as well. Here's a prime example: Lauren the Adventurous Ceccarelli, right? Lauren the Adventurous Ceccarelli was in the first LFC Madness. She made her debut at the last LFC Madness Booty Camp, and she's 1-0, defeating Veronica Payne. So I mean, if we get something like a Lauren the Adventurous Ceccarelli in there, who we've seen in past LFC Madness, and then boom, she makes her debut undefeated, there is nothing stopping anyone from the LFC Madness tournament to get onto an official LFC event.
Exactly, I agree.
Now, with you as well, first and foremost, man, what's great about this is we have the LFC network now. We have it on Roku. How amazing is that? Because from LFC, we started as a mockumentary, then boom, we get these pay-per-views, and now we have our own official Roku network, which you can see this podcast and many great shows coming to the network. But god dang, man, it's an exciting time to be an LFC fan and faithful.
It is. And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I was talking to my friend Amanda. She's been my best friend, oh my gosh, forever. And I was like, this one's got to be on the Roku channel. And I'm telling everybody to download it. And they're like, well, what's the difference of watching it on the phone? I was like, because it's on a TV, so I can officially say I'm on TV. It's just, so that's how I've been promoting. But it's awesome what you guys are doing. It's great. And it's just going to continue to grow and get bigger. And I'm glad and blessed to be a part of it. So I'm going to continue to be a part of it and see where it keeps going. Hopefully they like the storm staying around instead of wishing it away.
Well, first and foremost, before we get to the storm thing, because here's what we're going to tie that into a name here, but we got to talk about this, because outside of this, you are one of my dearest friends, and I love you to death, Miss London Storm. But god dang, man. All right, so this woman messages me, and it's late. I'm going to say it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, but I ain't lonely. My name's not Matchbox 20, and I'm not Rob Thomas. I digress. It's one of those things where she messaged me, hey, I can't sleep, so I want to watch the LFC network in Roku. So I set this woman up a nice little tutorial so she knows how to get the LFC network. So folks, I'm your Huckleberry like Tombstone. If you need help getting the LFC network, call your boy, because I got you like that.
Much love. Like that was so awesome. And I appreciate you too. And I have so much love for you. And it was pretty awesome. I'm just like, I can't sleep. And I'm like, help. And like SOS sent out, and then boom, he's like, I was like, yes. And honestly, I did that faster than I was trying to do it for like an hour by myself. So like you instantly get that step by step, and it just like boom, instantly downloaded. And I was like, but it was great. And I appreciate that so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm sending out an SOS. Sending out an SOS. It was funny. Like, I wasn't expecting that, number one. And number two, okay, so you guys were trying to download that for an hour. What the heck were you guys even typing?
I was.
Oh, okay. Well, what the heck were you typing?
I would just do like LFC, and then nothing came up. I'm like, okay, wait. And then I was like, I typed it out completely, lingerie, fighting, and nothing. Until you told me to do LFC Entertainment in all capitals, and boom, it was right there. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, I did this for an hour. I don't know. I mean, I just totally, I'm bad at like electronic stuff. Like my son's 7, he has to show me how to do things on my TV. So I don't know.
Oh, well, when the 7-year-old has got the more technologically savviness than the adults, you know how it is, man. When everything is advancing technology, it's at our fingertips, but everything does advance and is enhanced. So I will say this, for anybody that has any problems or troubles trying to find the LFC network, type in all capitals, LFC, capital N for network, boom, it'll be right there. So there you go for everybody that wants to get on the Roku, which you should, because there's great entertainment on there. So
yes, it is. It really is.
So Ms. London Storm as well. We had another Storm, and here's what I'm going to say. You're going to try to live up to this name, but it's also one of the most infamous names in LFC history. Former LFC champion Andrea the Storm Vladoi, one of the most decorated careers in LFC, the former Olympic athlete from Romania, did her thing many of times against Jolene the Valkyrie Hex and many opponents. Now, trying to live up to that is going to be tough, but we got another Storm in the distance. You better take cover now, as Bobby Lashley's theme once sang, man. So you're looking to bring the Storm to LFC?
Yes. Yes, I am. Now, you got to remember, not every storm's the same. That's gonna put that. But you know what? It's just one of those things. I got that storm inside of me. I pushed through. I people look at a storm as a bad thing, but like you got to stir that storm up inside of you. You got to build that anger up and be like, I'm sick of this lifestyle. I'm sick of going through this. I'm going to bring that thunder and lightning, and I'm clashing through. And that's how the whole storm thing happened. You know, you got to push through life, and you got to bring a storm. You got to go through the storm, get your rainbow. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring the storm, get the rainbow. So I got to think of the positivity to the storm. But it's going to be hard to live up. Definitely, I'll come close. I'm going to try, but if not, I'll definitely come close. So we'll see how that goes.
You sound like Skittles there, man. Get the rainbow, taste
I
the
love Skittles.
right.
And listen, my favorite ones are the yellow ones called Bright Side. Like,
there's a lot of shining through on this. There's a lot of positivity and love. I like this girl. Oh man, but no, that's very true. And I also look at it from a stance too as well. When it comes to London as well, you can have some fun with that. I mean, you could channel your inner Fergie and talk about your London Bridge go down, like, you know what I'm saying? So you can add some sex appeal and spiciness to that as well with the storm. So it's a nice mix, huh?
Yes, I do. I like it. I like having, it's like the many names of London. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
Oh my goodness. I got to say, first and foremost, I can't wait to see in the LFC ring, in the LFC auspices. I think your story is going to inspire a lot of people. There's a lot of young girls who are going to be tuning in to LFC and tuning in just in general. I think you're going to do very well. And when that debut happens, I'm going to be rooting for you. And I hope to meet you in person at one of these events. God dang, man.
I can't wait. I can't wait to shake your hand, bud. Shake the hand of the man that taught me how to use Roku properly.
Oh, please. I'm a man of many talents, and one of the talents is doing this podcast and just in general. I love giving people the platform to tell their story. And before we wrap this thing on out here, first and foremost, London Storm. Anytime you want to come back on the LFC podcast, you're more than welcome. I really enjoyed this conversation. I love you to death, so it's a pleasure and privilege for me.
Thank you, as do I, and you know I'll be back.
I got your back. All right. So do you have any final words before we get to the social media front? Do you have any final words for the people, man? The LFC faithful, the LFC fightful that want to see London Storm, that want to see more LFC prospects like yourself getting LFC. Do you have any final words to the LFC front?
Yes, I do. First and foremost, I definitely want to say thank you all so much from the LFC for giving me this opportunity, especially so close to the end game of signing up. Thank you so much for promoting me, and thank you for keeping with the storm. I'm sticking around for a while, so we'll see what happens.
Beautifully and eloquently said. Now, London Storm, we talked about the technology side of things. Man, we need to get these Facebook, Twitters, and Instagram all up in the mix here, man. Where can we find you on all forms of social media?
Okay, so I am on Twitter and Instagram, and you just gotta find me on there. Like I said, I'm still trying to use the technology, but it's London Storm. I know that at Twitter is at London Storm 443. So, and I'm on Instagram as well. My thing is, I'm so bad at getting back to you on the links and the actual follow through, but I will send them to you so we can attach them to the video in the future. So.
Links will be in the description. Check out London Storm 443 on Instagram and Twitter, and check her out on Sessions Wrestling, man. The Sessions profile where you can book her for a session. She could choke you out. She can have some fun, maybe a little head scissor action. It's systematic dissection. It's joint manipulation. She is one of the many girls on Sessions Girls and Wrestling.com. God dang, man, Jennifer Thomas does an amazing job, and to feature someone like yourself, oof, book a session with London Storm. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you so much, hon. It was great talking to you. I can't wait to do it again.
Same. And my final words before we close this out, as always, beauty, strength, and dominance, the three key elements that make women the work of art that they are. And Miss London Storm, I include you in those sentiments. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, hon.